Logo for QIC-AG, the National Quality Improvement Center for Adoption and Guardianship Support and Preservation, followed by the logo for Spalding for Children. Various video clips of children and families interacting with each other and within training settings.
Children from hard places need parents who feel equipped to help them heal and grow no matter what. That takes preparation, education, support, and the services families need when they need them. In partnership with 8 sites, the National Quality Improvement Center for Adoption and Guardianship Support and Preservation tested promising practices and evidence-based models of support and intervention along a continuum. 8 interventions in 5 intervals, each focusing on a different level of risk. Together, the intervals represent the needs a family may encounter along the lifelong journey of adoption or guardianship.
A flowchart representing the permanency continuum framework. The chart begins with pre-permanence divided into 3 intervals: stage setting, preparation, and focus services. Next is finalization. The chart continues with post-permanence divided into 5 intervals: universal, selective, indicated, intensive services, and maintenance. The 3 intervals of universal, selective, and indicated are further labeled as prevention.
Illinois focused its intervention on selective prevention. Introducing Target, Trauma Affect Regulation, Guide for Education and Training. This is Illinois, the land of Lincoln, where adoption support and preservation has been a priority since 1991.
Illinois has not only a long history of providing post-adoption and post-guardianship supports and services.
Nancy Rolock, Co-Principal Investigator, QIC-AG.
They also have a long history of evaluating those services and supports, which is really helpful and has been the foundation for this QIC-AG project. The research that came out of Illinois, the practice that came out of Illinois really helped us understand the needs of families post-adoption and post-guardianship.
We've been doing adoption preservation services, which is post-adoption.
Christine Feldman, Co-Site Implementation Manager, QIC-AG, Illinois.
Since 1991. One of the first states to really adopt a comprehensive post-adoption program, which involved everything from therapy to case management to educational advocacy to support groups.
How many people are usually here?
Originally developed for a range of populations, Target was adapted in Illinois for adoptive and guardianship families. For this group, the intervention is preventive, short-term, skills-based, and delivered in the home.
It's a trauma therapy that complements trauma practice.
Rachel Carrick, Illinois Department of Children and Family Services.
It's not an intensive service, it's more of a teaching exercise.
Target population? Adolescents between the ages of 12 and 16.
A social worker sits with a family at the kitchen table.
So it's a set of steps that teaches children and youth how to identify their triggers and to regulate their emotions so that they, can function better socially and within the family.
Our interval is the selective interval, which is prevention.
Selective prevention targets children who, at the time of adoption or guardianship, exhibited characteristics or behaviors that put them at increased risk for post-permanency discontinuity.
We want to get to the families before they need us.
Pamela Mills, Statewide Adoption Administrator, Illinois Department of Children and Family Services.
So we can equip them to be ready when they do need us, okay? If we give them the education that they need now, then we may be able to help the families to stay together.
Stakeholders played a key role in shaping the intervention for Illinois.
When you begin to have families feel like someone's really listening.
Elizabeth Richmond, adoptive parent, Chair, Illinois Adoption Advisory Council.
The vibe around the state becomes different. The vibe is, wow, they really care. They really want to help. They really want to do this for you in a way that is helpful and engages your family in a way that you choose. And so I think that that's a very powerful message to send out there.
Participating agencies engaged outreach coordinators to contact eligible families.
I explained to them that you don't necessarily have to be in crisis. There doesn't have to be anything wrong.
Tiffany DeRoche, Target Outreach Coordinator, Metropolitan Family Services.
We just want to give you the tools for if something comes up.
Selected clinicians from all of the participating agencies were trained by certified Target trainers to become Target facilitators.
Logos for 5 participating agencies appear: Metropolitan Family Services, the Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago, Jewish Child and Family Services, the Baby Fold, and Family Corps. ALEXIS ENRIGHT, Target Facilitator, the Baby Fold.
Every morning when we walked in, they would give us a pre-test, and it was kind of like, this is what you need to know about Target before the end. So that, I think, was really neat to see as the days went on, like how many more questions we could answer, and then by the end of it, we all passed.
We kind of started off exactly how you would with teaching a family.
Carnisha Smith, Target Facilitator, Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago.
So it was kind of like the same way we would teach a family, they taught us.
Each of these are different ways of actually turning down your alarm once you've been triggered.
A trainer leads training as a participant looks on.
But if you put them all together, you're doing freedom.
So being able to walk through the training, walk through the freedom steps, and then teach someone, it was just kind of just made sense.
These are the people that are on the front lines doing the work. How successful we are is how successful the facilitators are. And they're very excited about doing the work.
Have a good one, see you tomorrow.
Target facilitator Carnisha Smith is heading out to meet with 15-year-old Marcel.
The thinking behind going to the family's home to provide services, a lot of it has to do with convenience for them. The home is sometimes the most comfortable setting for them.
I came home from football practices one day, and then it was just this lady sitting on the couch, and I didn't know who that was.
Marcel Reeves, Target client, age 15.
So I'm like, who is this? At first I didn't really want to do it, but then I was like, let me give it a shot because I might like it eventually. But like after a while I started liking it because she was funny, like she made me laugh. And then like, if you can make me laugh, you know, you cool with me, so.
Marcel so he's your typical teenager, but he came in from day one and got it.
They was abandoned and abused, and they were found in a vacant apartment with nothing to eat but toothpaste.
Eddie Mae Reeves, adoptive parent.
We adopted them at age 3 and 5, and they've been with us ever since. Now the oldest one coming out of high school, the young one just going into high school.
Marcel hands his mom, Eddie, a paper.
Oh, you gotta see, huh? Well, that's good. I know you can bring it up. I know you can do it. I taught them that they can do anything they want to do. I said, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do.
Carnisha arrives at the Reeves family home in Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Mrs. Reeves, how are you?
This particular age group is so important because that's when they start to kind of identify with their peers more. They kind of start to establish themselves. They're having a lot of triggers at school. 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, you see them acting out a lot, fights with the parents, not doing what they're supposed to do.
Talking back at me, you know, getting disrespectful with me or the dad.
So that's why this population was kind of selected.
It'll help them to get through all this stuff like peer pressure and stuff like that. It'll help them to get through that.
So there's just a lot of situations that become very stressful, just in adolescence life period. But I mean, these kids have been through a lot. They've had their trauma, and I think that's the biggest thing is that they've experienced some sort of trauma that's impacted them. We don't really talk about that trauma, but it's there.
Marcel joins Carnisha at the kitchen
Let's
table.
take a step back and slow down. Let your mind, your body, and your spirit become quiet and calm. SOS is to help them kind of, focus. So it's slow down, clear your mind, just kind of let go of everything. The O is to orient your thoughts. You want to focus on what's most important to me right now at this very moment. And then the last S is you do a check-in. And on a scale from 1 to 10, I want you to measure your level of stress and personal control.
Wait, what's the first one?
Stress.
It's a 5. No, it's a 7.
As the facilitator, you definitely want to check in with them. What can I help you with? what's going on right now. So you're at high stress, but high person control, right? Yeah. Is it something you want to talk about that's causing you stress?
I got caught up today.
We are teaching the clients and a family a tool, how to recognize their stress, recognize their trigger, recognize when their alarm is going off, and then how to reset their alarm. And in order to do that, we have what's called freedom steps. Okay. So do you want to walk through the freedom steps then to kind of work through this?
Yeah.
Okay. The most important thing in Target is being able to do something different. So when you're in situations like this, try to just run through the freedom steps. If you see it working, you see him focusing on what is most important to, like, what are my core values? What are my thoughts? You've already recognized the trigger. You do that really well. Those are the positive results. They're little by little, but they're there and they excite me. They make me happy.
The scene changes to the Johnson family home in Tinley Park, Illinois.
Kathy and Daniel Johnson adopted their children, Zach and Valerie, as babies.
We brought Zach home, and about the time he was 5, we started to realize that he may have had some special needs that we would have to deal with, which we weren't expecting.
Yeah, that wasn't part of Pollyanna.
Right.
Mom, I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, he's been in therapy his whole life.
Kathy would be in groups with her friends, and Zach wasn't advancing and doing things the way other kids his age were.
Yeah, it's hard when you're the only parent who has to leave playgroup because their kid can't keep it together or stop throwing toys at their friends. So you have to figure out what to do about it.
When the Johnsons' adoption agency, The Cradle, posted information about Target, Kathy made the call.
It fit very closely with the problems we're having.
Daniel and Kathy Johnson, adoptive parents.
Zach is very impulsive, has impulse control problems, and this is all about stopping that alarm, that impulse, before something happens, which is, we've never found a way to do that. So this fits perfectly for us.
All right, so
A Target facilitator sits down with the Johnson family at their kitchen table.
we start our sessions off by going over our expectations.
Target is a great way of learning building blocks about how your body and your brain react to stress and what you can personally do to control your reaction to stress.
Have you noticed any triggers this past week? A trigger is the actual stressful event
Tiara Robinson, Target facilitator, Metropolitan Family Services.
that sets off your alarm. Is that when you noticed your alarm?
I think
Or
so.
what part about Dad saying you have to do the laundry do you think was your trigger?
I don't like doing laundry.
Well, one of the goals that I usually set for a session for myself is to achieve balance, because I do tend to follow my children's emotional states a little too closely. So if they're happy, I'm happy. If they're sad, I'm sad. If they're stressed, I'm stressed. So I need to learn to stay calm myself so that my children don't get stressed out even worse than they would have been.
And I'm the typical dad. When he starts yelling and becoming violent and throwing things, it usually involves damage to the house, which escalates me, which escalates him, which escalates me, which now no one wins.
But if I slow down and think I can get through this, what other choices do I have?
Like your thinking center and your filing center? You know, you could think of all the choices.
Right.
Or times when you've done laundry before and it went well, right?
Right.
You can think of all those things too.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why we do the SOS, right?
The light bulb just went on.
Mom and Dad, what do you think?
The parents know the kid best. They see the kid every day. If the parents learn it, even if the kid doesn't quite grasp it right now, that the parents have learned the skill and can continue to help them and practice throughout the week.
Kathy and her son talk while at the kitchen table.
Yeah, we use it a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, even I use it. When he's in therapy by himself, it doesn't include us. And so Target includes all 3 of us together, and we learn all the methods together as a team.
And we're all using the same language, the same terminology. We're coming at it from the same approach.
And he's turning 13, so, you know, time is of the essence. We don't have another 10 years to figure this out.
It's starting to help. I think Target will help us move forward to a better place than we are now. We know we don't know enough to do this alone.
The scene changes to the Hussey-Man family home in Bloomington, Illinois.
14-year-old twins Aaliyah and Alexa were selected to receive Target services through the Baby Fold in central Illinois.
I got them when they were 3 years old.
Patricia Hussey-Man, adoptive parent.
Like right after they turned 3. And they were pretty cute. They would have a lot of meltdowns and a lot of tantrums, and they couldn't express themselves. They couldn't tell you why they were upset. We got a flyer in the mail, and I called because I just figure the more people that work with you with your kids, the more people to bounce ideas off, the more people to teach your kids skills, the more whatever, you're better off.
Target has been a really interesting addition to our services.
Kathleen Bush, Clinical Services Manager, ASAP, the Baby Fold.
It's preventative, it's helpful in the midst of the chaos, it's helpful prior to the chaos. It's something that I could use, you could use, any family would benefit from Target.
I figured teen years could be rough. So we were getting to the teen years, and I just figured the more things that we can teach them, the better they could cope later on in life.
And of course, the kids that we work with have a lot of stress in their history.
So a Target facilitator sits down with Aaliyah and Alexa on the floor as they start a session.
In Target, we talk about 3 different types of stress. We have normal, moderate, and extreme. So somebody want to read normal stress for us?
Oh.
Thanks, Lexi.
A challenge or a problem, something that we can usually handle, like missing a TV show or having a test.
The first 2 sessions were just doing the psychoeducation of understanding what is stress.
Alexis ENRIGHT, Target facilitator, the Baby Fold.
These girls are so fun, and they are so smart, and they are just so great at connecting what's going on in the program to what I did at school today, or what happened actually right before Lexi walked in the door.
And what we're going to do now is test your knowledge of these 3 types of stress by playing Jenga. So on the Jenga blocks are different stressors.
And so the important thing that we try to convey to families is the alarm is not a bad thing. We need our alarm, but when we get in trouble is when our alarm can get stuck in extreme stress mode. So then we're responding to like normal stressors like the C on a test as they were extreme stressors where our life is at risk. So that's when we really have to start working on how do we address that alarm. And I think what is so helpful about Target is this is a whole family approach. So we're all in there together understanding, okay, where is this kid coming from?
They've been using it a lot at school, I think. Yeah. After doing Target, they kind of knew the warning signs in their body and knew, when they were getting upset. So instead of reacting and fighting and getting into trouble, they learned to not let every little thing bug them and to not react.
Subsequent Target sessions cover the freedom steps, step by step, leading to graduation day.
So with this being the last day of Target,
the culmination of 12 sessions.
At the end of the session, you can see a change in yourself.
Alexa and Aaliyah Hussey-Man, Target clients, age 14.
And you know that you are approaching things better, and everybody seems to be kind of proud and happy.
So Lexi, congratulations on being done with the Target program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's nice. I'm their mom. From the day they walked through my door, they were my kids. I even tell them to this day, if something bad happens, I'm here. As long as you want me to be here, I'm here.
That's what we're working to preserve. We're working to preserve that lifelong relationship and that lifelong support because our kids do need that.
And we're going to have happier homes. We're going to have less disruptions. And that's what we want. We want our forever homes to be forever homes.
A production of the National Quality Improvement Center for Adoption and Guardianship Support and Preservation at Spalding for Children. a service of the Children's Bureau, U.S. Administration for Children and Families. Funded through the Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Children's Bureau, grant number 90, C as in Charlie, O as in Oscar, 1122. The contents of this document do not necessarily reflect the views or policies of the funders, nor does mention of trade names, commercial products, or organizations imply endorsement by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.